Hi there, in this video we're going to be learning how to use a calculator and then solve worded problems. So hopefully you're already thinking, Mr. Goffine, why are you showing me how to use a calculator? I already know how to do that. Well, then this will be a refresher. The thing that might be a bit tricky is the worded problems. So I'll try and go through the calculator quickly so then I can get to worded problems. So if you don't have a calculator at home for your homework, you can always go down to the search section of your computer and type in calculator, and I'm certain your computer will have one. If it doesn't, for some miraculous reason, you can go on Google and type in calculator and use one on Google. Great. So here, hopefully you can see my mouse okay. These are the things that are important. So we have our number pad. So I've got 7, 8, 9, and then all the way down to 0 down here. And then we have our backspace button if we make a mistake. We also have a clear button. So if I had lots of numbers selected, pressing the CE will clear everything. And if we've written in, a sum and I hit equals, C will just close everything and it will sort of forget its history. I don't know if you can hear someone grinding some metal. I apologize for that. Maybe I'll move spaces. Give me a moment. Okay, hopefully that isn't so loud. Great. And then obviously on the side, we have the divide button, we have the times, we have the minus, we have the plus, and don't forget the equal sign and our decimal place. Those are the main ones we'll be using. We won't really be using the other functions. And there's also different types of calculators. So you could use one that's called a scientific calculator that might have some more functions. But for now, where we're at the moment, this is mighty fine for us. So our first question is, what's 25,658 plus 43,952? So I can just punch in those numbers very easily. In calculators, there's no spaces, you don't need to use commas. So 25,658 just looks like that. And at least for this calculator, it puts a comma in for me. But if yours doesn't, that's fine. Just leave it with no commas, and that's how we will leave it. Then I'm going to go plus 43,952. Now, if your number doesn't disappear when you type in the next one after you hit plus, maybe just try hit plus a little harder. And here I can sort of see the history. That was the first one I typed in. And then here's my second number that I've typed in. When I'm ready, I'll hit equals, which is my product. Remember, product is, sorry, what am I saying? My sum. Sum is what the answer for addition problem is. So I've got equals 69,610. So we don't have to put in a comma. So here I'm going to, but you don't have to. Question 2, let's try finding the difference. So difference is when you subtract. So again, if I hit CE, it'll cancel everything as well as C. We've got 16,218. Then I've got the subtract button, 11,509. It equals, we've got 4,709. Great. Let's try a multiplication problem. So this is when we need to find the product. So I'm going to hit CE or C. They will both be helpful. I've got 19,652. I'll hit the times button. Maybe on your calculator it'll look more like a star. It'll look more like an apostrophe. What's the word? Asterisk. It might look like an asterisk on yours. Here it looks like a X, so that helps. And my answer is 137,564. And then final question, we need the quotient, which is a division problem. So I hit C, and I've got 358,101. Here's my divide symbol. If your calculator doesn't have that, maybe it'll have a slash that looks like this instead. That also works for division. So I hit the division symbol and 3 equals, and it's and 19,367. Now, what's helpful is just doing a quick estimate. So I always want to estimate answers. So 25,658 is what, close enough to, if we went up to the nearest 10,000s, nearest to 30,000, plus 43,952, so it's close enough to 40,000. So now my answer has to be around about 3 plus 4 is 7, so 70,000. Here it's 69,000, so yeah, great. And then for here, we've got, if we did the nearest, let's say 1,000, I've got 16,200, so it's close enough to 16,000. And then take away 11,500, so it's close enough to 12,000. So 16 times, take away 12 will be what, 4,000. And that, yeah, my answer is close. Multiplication, we had, let's say 20,000 up to the nearest 10,000, and 7, let's leave it as 7 times 7. So 7 times 2 is 14, and then add my 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, sorry, 4 zeros. So we've got 140,000, and here our answer was 130 something thousand. So yeah, great. And then finally our quotient. So if I go to the nearest, I don't know, number that I think 3 will go into. So I don't know if it was 360,000, because I know that 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 6, and it will go into this 0 times 0 times 0 times 0 times. So that'll be easy to do. So 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice, and then goes into 0 no times, into 0 no times, into 0 no times, into 0 no times. So my answer is 120,000, and here my answer is 119. So yeah, it is definitely close. So brilliant calculator section. We've got it down pat. Let's try the worded problems. So we have an acronym that helps us remember what to do. It is UPAC, UPAC. So the first step, understand. Let's go through underline and understand the section. So the Greensboro Library has 200,000. I'm just going to say 200,000 books and 150,000 audiobooks. For loan, the Mill Park Library has 97,000 fewer compared to Greensboro. So how many titles does Mill Park Library have available for loan? So we've understood that it says fewer, so we're comparing, so I'm going to say it is a minus question. So I reckon we've understood it. Plan. Here we can draw something called a box plot or a box model. So we'll have Greensboro and I have Mill Park. So Greensboro will do as a big rectangle bar, and Mill Park was less. So I'll do similar but some kind of less section. So we have an empty gap here. And then we had, with the Greensboro, we had books and audiobooks. So it was like 200 and something thousand and then 150 something thousand. So this was the books, this was the audio books, and this is all just books plus audiobooks, I guess. Everything. So they just called it titles. Brilliant. So now I can label it. So maybe if I change my pen. All right, so I've got in total, I'm not sure how many we have in total, but for just the books, it said 282,467, and audiobooks, it said there was 155,058. And then for Mill Park, we weren't sure how many books they had. That's actually our question. But we knew the difference, so this amount that was smaller, I'm just doing these curly brackets, it was 97,134 fewer. So that's that gap. Now I've drawn it out, I can see what my plan is. So I've got my P step, my plan. So my plan is, I'm going to need to do, first of all, step 1, I'm going to do 2 steps. So I'm just going to call it step A and step B. Step A is going to be step A is going to have to do 282,467 plus 155,058. Why? Because I've got a part and a part, but I don't have the whole. So to work out a whole, when you have a part and a part, you add them together. Once I've got that answer, I'm going to bring it down into here and say, well, that is how many Greensboro has. Whatever the answer is, subtract our difference, 97, because difference is always subtraction. And whatever that is, it will be how much the whole is. So then I'll have a whole take away a part will equal the whole of the other one. Great. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, that's okay. I'm sure if you watch the next video after this, it'll become more obvious to you. So for part A, we've got 2, 8, 2, 4, 6, 7 plus, and I'll do vertically, so then 155,058. You know what? I don't need to do this because this is a calculator lesson. So how about I rub it out and just type it in? 200, so I'm going to hit clear first because I don't want to accidentally keep adding. 282,467 plus 155,058 equals. So I've got 437,525. I'm going to keep it in my answer, not hit clear, because that's now going to go here, 437,525. And I'm just going to go in here and hit subtract because it's holding that number. So I'm going to hit subtract, then type in 97,134. And I can see in the history that it's still got this number here. So brilliant. I'll hit equals or enter, whatever it is on your calculator. 340,391. There's my answer. Last step is check. So I'm going to say roughly 200,000-ish is, it's close enough to 300,000 if we added, 18,000 or something. And then plus 155,000, so I'm just going to round it to 160,000. And then that take away 98,000, let's just go 100,000. 100, one more zero. So I've got 300 plus 160 will be 460,000. And then take away 100,000 will be 360,000. So is 360,000 close to 340,000? Yes, it is. So my check is done. Just make sure you circle your answer in the end, and it is a worded problem. So I want to say the Mill Park Library has, and I'll write it, Mill Park Library has 340,000. And that is how we do our worded problems. Make sure you do UPAC for the best way of doing it. I hope you have a great day today. Bye.